wanted to talk about something near and dear to my heart, Thai BL. When it comes to Thai BL, my philosophy is insert Blanche from Streetcar Named Desire quote here. I don't want realism, I want magic! I do not want it to be realistic at all. You know, I watch Thai BL to escape from my reality and not to think about my own problems. So of course I want the characters to have unrealistic jobs and out of this world personalities, and I think The Heart Killers delivers on that. Is it necessarily the best show I've seen? No, but like, it was fun. Alright, so to start us off, I'm going to introduce us to our main cast of characters. So, our 4 main characters are, number 1, Kant. He is like an ex-criminal. He used to steal cars for money, but then he made a deal with the police to kind of like be a spy for them and work for them to like get his like record cleared and everything. He now owns like a little tattoo parlor and he lives alone with his younger brother who's still in high school. And the reason why he used to be a criminal was because him and his brother's parents died when they were younger. So he did this to support his younger brother. And his younger brother is like a really smart academic guy. He's the most level-headed character in the show, I'll say that. And he's the most quote unquote like normal like person in the show, I guess. I must say, his fits do go hard. Like he like dresses kind of like vintage, like 70s inspired. Ooh, and he has cool ass glasses. His fits go so hard. Like, he is best dressed in the show by far. Oh, and his prized possession is his dad's old car. Next, Style. He is Kant's best friend. Now, I both love and hate Style. I'm honestly kind of jealous of him because he is just so obnoxious, outgoing. He is not afraid. He has no fears. Social anxiety fears him. I think that's how I could best describe him. And as someone with social anxiety, I'm just kind of, whenever I just see him do his thing, I'm kind of seething with jealousy. He works at his dad's car garage. You know, he works as a mechanic fixing cars. He has no waist. That's a necessary detail. No ways, absolutely none. And he also has a signature style. His name Style, of course he does. He always wears like a boxy crop top, like usually like a collared shirt and like baggy pants. Like he is the second best dressed in the show. He does have some really cunty outfits throughout. They're more so like hit or miss, where like Kant, he always hits. So next we have Fidel. Fidel works as an assassin for his mother, his adoptive mother named Miss Lily. Basically, she adopted him along with some other kids after their parents had died, and she raised them to be assassins. So now he works for her. He's very grumpy. He doesn't trust anyone. He's a tsundere. He likes heavy metal. And he dresses like emo casual. Like, he's never gonna like fully commit to it, but like he wears all black. You know what I mean? That's the vibe. And then there is his adoptive brother Bison, which is our 4th main character. You know, he's also an assassin working for Miss Lily. He is very aloof. He is extremely reckless and emotional. He likes cats, and he has the worst style by far. His fits, they rarely are giving. He wears the most ugly ass like Hawaiian shirts with the most ugly ass prints I've ever seen in my goddamn life. Like, there was this one where there was this like Jesus on the back and it looked like AI Jesus. Like, I don't know. But like, go off. So now we're getting to the side characters. So I've already mentioned Miss Lily. She adopts kids with dead parents to work for her as an assassin. So that's an interesting career path she's chosen. She thinks that if her kids start dating, they're gonna leave her, so she doesn't like want them really talking to anyone else. She keeps them isolated. Another side character is Keen. He is another one of the kids Miss Lee has adopted to work for her. She's only adopted 3 kids. It's Bison, Fadel, and Keen. Keen, you know, when she was like training them how to use guns, how to be an assassin, he was never good at that stuff. So he's kind of like jealous of Bison and Fadel because they always go on all these on the field missions. Meanwhile, he has to do the paperwork back home. So he's jealous of them for that. And he's not very close to them as they are to each other. Like they treat each other like real brothers, but they don't talk to him that much. And our last side character I'm going to introduce is Officer White Boy. So his real name is not important. We're just gonna call him Officer White Boy today. So he's a cop. Ew. He's white and he just gives off generally like creepy, ominous vibes. I don't trust this man. He has the blue eye stare. And also he's suspiciously buff. Like, he's like an old, like why you got all that muscle? Like when I see an old man who's like too buff, it's just like, I don't know. He is the cop who like caught Kant for stealing cars and now like makes him work for him to clear his record. So now let's get into the story, starting off with episode 1. So as I said, the 2 brothers, Fadel and Bison, they are assassins. And they just opened this new burger place called Heart Burger as a cover for this new assassin gig that they got. So they're in a new town and now they're working at this burger place. You know what's crazy? This is the first time I've actually had something in common with the protagonist of a Thai BL. You know, Fadel serves burgers and I serve cunt. That was so bad. And as we also already mentioned, Kant and Style are friends. One day, Kant and Style, they're hanging out at this bowling place, going bowling. And Kant is known to be like a little bit promiscuous. You know, he sleeps around. And he sees Bison bowling on the lane beside them. And he's like, oh, like that guy kind of cute. So he goes over to him. He's like, Style, bye. Like, I'm leaving, sorry. And he goes over to Bison. He's like, hey, do you need any tips on how to like bowl? Cause like I'm kind of a pro. And somehow his riz actually works on Bison and they end up hooking up with each other. So the next day after Kant has this one night stand with Bison, he doesn't even get his name. He has no idea who bro is. But after bro left him, he's kind of like, wait, but that was kind of good. Like, I wish I knew his name. Like, I wish I could see him again. Anyhow, he gets a call. He gets a phone call from Mr. Officer White Boy. And Officer White Boy's like, yo, this time I swear I'm gonna clean your record. I'm gonna erase all charges from your criminal record. You're gonna have nothing, clean state. You never gotta work for me again, okay, boy? So then Kant's like, oh, okay, great. What do you need me to do? And then Officer White Boy is like, look, I need you to look into these 2 brothers named Bison and Fadel because they're suspected to be murderers. And then he gives them the address for the burger place they're working at. So Kant goes to visit the burger place. And who does he see there? Bison. And he's like, oh shit, so my one night stand is a murderer. Oh, okay. So he begins to pursue Bison romantically. And, you know, he just pretends that it's like a little coincidence that he happened to ran into him at his burger place, and he flirts with Bison, the whole shebang. Meanwhile, Style is driving his car and he begins texting while driving. Don't do that, kids. And he hits the back of someone's car. So he gets out of the car, and who is it? It's Fadel. คนไม่คนขับรถด้วยซ้ำไม่ได้เมาตอบข้อความเพื่อนเฉย Style agrees to fix Fadel's car at his shop. He's like, bro, you can take your car to my shop. Don't worry, I'm a mechanic. I'll fix it for you free of charge. And Fadel is just like so grumpy and everything. He's like, oh, fine, I'll bring it tomorrow. So then he leaves. Fadel finds out that Kant is pursuing his brother, Bison. And he immediately distrusts him. Bison like explains what happened between them and that he kind of like wants to date Kant, and Fadel is like, no way. Terrible idea. So now, Bison tells Kant that the only way Kant will be able to date him is if he wins over Fidel. And that's pretty much impossible because bro doesn't believe in love. So, good luck with that. Kant deduces that the only way it's possible to win Fidel over would be if he learned what love is. So, he decides to send his friend Style to pursue Fidel. And because apparently, like, Style says he can seduce anyone, so... Style agrees to doing this because Kant wagers his dad's old car, and Style really likes this car. So Style agrees. He's like, you know what, I am gonna do this. I need to put Fidel in his place. Like, he needs to be humbled. Now we're on episode 2. Kant gets Bison to learn Fidel's schedule because he tells him his plan to get Style to seduce Fidel. And Bison just wants to see his brother happy, so he's like, yeah, maybe he should get a boyfriend. So he gives Style Fidel's schedule. So then Style follows Fidel literally everywhere he goes. And he even goes as far as to get jobbed to pursue this man. He begs for a job at like a local market where Fidel always buys meat and vegetables for the burger place. So he literally is like selling meat now at the market and sells it to Fidel. And Fidel hates this.
Good morning ครับระวังหัวนมผมด้วยนะพ่อค้าแม่ค้าครับพ่อค้าแม่ค้าครับฟังทางนี้ครับคนเนี้ยมันทำผักผมพังหมดเลยอ๋อผมว่าจะสั่งได้ครับสวัสดีครับถ้าเสร็จหน้าไม่ไหวอ่ะช่วยได้นะ
So after talking to his brother, Kant is like, I want Bison to know that I am serious about him. So basically he hires a guy to like flirt with Bison at the bowling alley that he invited him to go to again. He does this just so he can defend Bison and be like, get your hands off my man. And I guess it works because he won a kiss on the cheek for that. So okay. Like, I don't think you had to do that. Then, at this bowling alley, there's this random dance competition that happens, and then Kant and Bison win it, and they get like this giant trophy. So then after working out at the gym, which Style had followed Fidel to, Fidel goes into the sauna, and Style tries to seduce him in the sauna of the gym. Fidel yells at Style asking, yo, who sent you to flirt with me? Because he doesn't trust anyone. And Style's like, nah, I'm doing this for love, baby. Later that day, Fidel, he's lying in his bed. And he begins jorking it. Picturing Style in the sauna. But like, who could blame him? He's a baddie. Alright, episode number 3. Bison and Fidel get a new assignment from their boss, Miss Lily. We see Keen for the first time, and we are automatically introduced to his jealousy towards Bison and Fidel. Kant is visited once again by Officer Whiteboy and is urged to enter Bison and Fidel's house to find more clues. Keen helps Bison and Fidel by giving them information on their new victim's secretary. And apparently she loves host clubs. And after this conversation, Fidel tells Bison that this could be his last assassin job and that he'll talk to Miss Lily to get him out of it after this. So then Fidel goes undercover and performs a striptease at the host club to get the secretary's attention. They then download the information from her phone. But while he's performing this striptease, Style enters the host club because his dad told him to return a car to the owner, and he sees Fidel performing. So after like confronting Fidel, he's like, what the hell are you doing here? Fidel tells him that, yeah, this is the second job that I have to help pay for the burger joint. He is then attacked in the parking lot by hosts that are angry at him because he like took their top client, who was the secretary. And then Style witnesses Fidel beating all these guys up single-handedly. So then, Style is a bit sketched out. And the next day he tells Kant that Fidel is hella sketchy and that he thinks he might actually be an assassin. So then Kent's like, what? No, you're just looking too much into things, because Officer White Boy told him, yo, tell no one under any circumstances about this shit, right? So then Style decides to investigate Fidel to uncover the truth behind whatever sketchy mess is going on.
ตอนเนี้ยอยากรู้เรื่องแม่งมากกว่าไม่ชอบให้ใครมาหลอกกู
Later, Bison reveals to Kant that he is a sadist, actually. So he gets sexual gratification from inflicting pain on others, and Kant pretends to be into it when he's not. So, okay. We see through a flashback that Fidel used to have a partner, and we are led to believe something bad happened to him. As we know, he knows Fidel's entire schedule, so Style sneaks into Fidel's group therapy session about loss. Pretty insensitive thing to do. He makes up the story about how his dog died and his fake crying and everything when other people are sharing their actual trauma, so not the best idea, but okay.
บุญเติมลูกพ่อ
And Fidel is obviously pissed at Style, but he ends up hooking up with him in the supply closet to shut him up, apparently. Sure, Fidel. Whatever you say. Bison brings Kant back to his house after they got super drunk at this bar, and Kant actually kind of drugged him, put a drug in his drink. But Kant can't investigate because Bison brings him to his room and is like, ooh, I'm so happy I have someone I can finally do BDSM to, baby. Come over here. Our safe word is penguin, okay? If anything happens, say penguin. Episode 4. So episode 4 starts and then Bison just immediately passes out on top of Kant. And by the way, his fetish and this BDSM thing is never brought up again. So after Bison passes out, Kant looks around the house and finds a suspicious door in the basement. But just then, Fidel shows up and pulls a gun on him and kicks him out of the house. As we know, Fidel was already suspicious towards Kant, but he tells Bison that he actually looked into Kant's past and that he found out Kant used to steal cars, but never actually went to jail for it. Bison asks Kant about this, but Kant manages to avoid suspicion, telling him that he just didn't want him to know about the fact that he used to do illegal things in the past. So then, Kant and Bison find out that Kant's brother is getting beat up and bullied at his school. And kids are calling him gay and stuff. It turns out that there is a teacher at the school that is facilitating this. And Kant and Bison do some investigation, and it turns out this sick freak is actually a pedo. And then Kant and Bison get him arrested. So, good job. Good job, guys. Style decides to stop coming to some of Fidel's daily activities, so pretty much he just stops stalking him for one day, and Fidel realizes, wait, why do I actually miss him though? At the end of the day, Style still shows up to Fidel's group therapy session, but he's like, oh, this guy, this terrible man, he nailed and bailed me and he just left me, and it hurts so much.
ผมโดนหลอกฟัน
So then Fidel grabs Style and drives him over to some abandoned greenhouse or something. I don't know, and then gets freaky with him. And Style somehow convinces Fidel to agree to be his boyfriend. Bro is a siren. I don't know how he got the biggest tsundere in the world to agree to that.
กูเป็นแฟนมึงก็ได้
Bison calls Kant his boyfriend for the first time and is like, okay, you're officially my boyfriend. And Kant looks hella guilty. Guys, I think he might have caught feelings. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Style told him that he finally got Fidel to agree to date him. And then Kant's like, I can't keep this a secret any longer. He tells Style that the brothers are actually assassins. So Style is hella scared and he wants to leave Fidel immediately, but Kant tells him that would be way too suspicious, so yes, stick with it for now, pretend everything's fine. While investigating their target, Fidel and Bison find out that their target actually killed both of their respective parents. So this makes them want to kill the guy even more. So Fidel runs into Style at the gym and actually starts coming on to him. And Style is acting super suspicious, super scared, and acting totally different from how he normally acts.
ให้กูช่วยเซฟปะไม่เป็นไรอะ
Fidel doesn't really seem to notice though. Bison sees Kant's ex leave his tattoo shop, and he sees that he has a tattoo of Kant's name behind his ear. He's really pissed off. Episode 5. Miss Lily says that she'll let Fidel and Bison take a break or even quit after this last assassination job. Kant and Bison run into Kant's ex again, and Bison threatens him. The next day, Kant worries that Bison might literally kill his ex because bro is unhinged, but it's fine because all Bison did was go to his place of work, yell at him, and threaten him with a gun to stop following him.
มึงจะเอาให้ได้เลยใช่ไหม
Fidel ends up telling Style that he can never 100% trust someone fully, and he can never actually let people into his life. He says that he's afraid to love because he doesn't want to put people in danger. Because, you know, my job at the burger place is totally dangerous, you know, the business could collapse at any time, and that's why it's dangerous. Totally. And Style's like, yeah, then maybe you shouldn't work such a dangerous job, wink wink. You know, maybe you should quit. Style talks to Kant later and is like, bro, I can't even lie, I think I caught feelings for Fidel, like, I'm sorry. And Kant is like, bro, you can't bring your heart into this, okay?
มึงห้ามหลงรักมันเด็ดขาดเลยนะเว้ย
And Style's like, bro, come on, you're one to talk. I see the way you look at Bison, don't even lie, you're in too deep too. Kant says that that's why they have to finish this mission as quickly as possible, and he devises a plan and tells Style to invite Bison and Fidel on a double date. So at the date, you know, they're at the bowling alley again, of course, and Kant pretends that he got a phone call from his brother saying that he got beat up again. He's like, bro, I gotta check on him, you guys stay here, I'll be back soon, like, don't worry. And he leaves. So then, he breaks into Fidel and Bison's house and ends up entering their secret room in the basement, and he takes photos of their victim board with like who they're planning on killing next, all their plans, and the files that hold like everyone they've killed before. We can see that there is actually a security camera in the room that caught Kant on tape. Kant makes it back to his house before Bison gets to his house because he wanted to see him. And Bison lays in his arms and Kant is looking hella guilty.
ผมรู้สึกเลยนะว่าชีวิตผมกำลังจะเปลี่ยนไป
Meanwhile, Fidel tells Style that, quote unquote, the real me might be scarier than you think. And Style's like, bro, I promise, I'll still like you literally no matter what. Wink, wink. And then Fidel is like, listen, I'll tell you about my secrets and everything when you're ready. All right, episode 6. The episode starts with Kant giving Captain Whiteboy the photos that he took from Fidel and Bison's house. And he now knows who their target is and all of their plans. So Bison goes back home and then he watches the security footage from the day before. And literally just as he's about to see Kant in the security tapes, he gets a call from Kant and he like turns away from the screen and misses it. So it's the day before their planned assassination, and Kant and Style decide to do something fun with their boyfriends before they get arrested. So Style and Fidel go to a heavy metal concert, and Style gets Fidel to go out of his comfort zone and like put on like the emo makeup and be himself, so that's great. And Kant breaks into the bowling alley where he and Bison first met, and they have fun there. It's the assassination attempt, and it takes place at a fundraiser for academic scholarships, so Kant's little brother is in attendance. Bison and Fidel are dressed up in these bear costumes as like the mascots of the event.
I keep it undercover. Living my life on red alert.
And just when Fidel is about to shoot the target, Bison jumps to push Kant's brother out of the way because he is standing next to the target. This messes with Fidel's aim and he misses the shot. Then like Officer White Boy and different policemen were undercover and they jump out and they start chasing Fidel and Bison, but they end up getting away. So after Fidel and Bison meet with Miss Lily and they explain everything that happened, and she says the police must have been tipped off by someone close to them. Who could have done it? This makes Bison and Fidel obviously suspect Style and Kant. So Fidel and Bison, after this failed assassination attempt, they literally go MIA. They literally disappear for an entire week. Style meets Fidel at his burger place and is like, bro, literally where the heck have you been? You have not been answering my calls for an entire week. Like, don't do that again. It scared me so much. Oh my God. And Fidel's like, yeah, I was just like on a family business thing. Like, don't even worry about it. Bison meets Kant at a bar and they have literally the exact same conversation. After their conversation, Bison pretends to leave. But then he secretly follows Kant and he sees him meet up and talk to Officer White Boy. Uh-oh. So then Bison calls Fidel and tells him what happened. And this is while Style and Bison are both still at the burger place. So Fidel gets the call. He's like, hey, let me step outside for a bit. He hears that Kant is working for the police. And then after he gets this call, Fidel goes back into the burger place and literally for the first time is romantic with Style. And he tells him, I think I love you.
กูรักมึงแล้ววะ
So I guess he's a good actor. Episode 7 commences. Bison and Fidel are acting extra lovey-dovey towards their boyfriends. And they're doing this because they plan to make Style and Kant absolutely fall in love with them so that their betrayal, when they, end up killing them, will be extra painful. Also, Bison fantasizes about killing Kant in a bunch of different violent and grotesque ways. Anyways, it's Bison's birthday and they all decide to go bowling for his birthday. So Bison and Fidel are outside the parking lot of the bowling place and they stop a man from hitting his ex-girlfriend there. At the bowling place, Style goes into the bathroom and Keen, remember Keen, the guy who works for Miss Lily and is jealous of Bison and Fidel? Well, he's in there and he eavesdrops on Style and Fidel flirting. We also see him pull out a gun. But then he is interrupted by the man from the parking lot who almost hit his ex-girlfriend. Well, he is holding a woman at gunpoint in the middle of the bowling alley. So this man is yelling. He's like, I'm actually gonna shoot her if my ex doesn't come back to me right now. So Bison and Fidel end up stopping the guy, fighting him. But in the process, Fidel's arm is like dislocated and Bison is literally stabbed. So they are then taken to the hospital and Kant watches over Bison, who is unconscious, and he like holds his hand the whole time. So Style is really worried about Fidel's arm and Fidel is having absolutely none of it. He's like, I still have some business to finish with you and Kant, so stop putting up this big act, okay?
หลังจากเนี้ยอะไรที่เคยแสดงก็ไม่ได้แสดงแล้ว
And then he leaves the hospital alone. So Kant is crying at Bison's bedside in the hospital and he tells him that he will explain everything when he wakes up and that he doesn't want to lie to him anymore. So Bison was actually faking unconscious this whole time. He gets up and then he stabs a syringe in Kant's neck, drugs, and kidnaps him. So Officer White Boy comes to the hospital to arrest Bison, but he sees that his body is missing.
Fuck.
He just thinks that Kant helped him escape or something. Fidel chloroforms and kidnaps Style. When Style wakes up, he tells Fidel everything he knows, that he wasn't actually working with the police, that it was Kant, and that he actually loves him, and that he's sorry that he went through this and was lying to him. And Fidel does not believe that he actually loves him. He's like, shut up, you liar. But for the time being, Fidel agrees to keep Style alive to help him find Bison because Bison is missing and he doesn't know where he went. And literally seconds after his life is threatened and he is kidnapped and drugged, Style is back to being his obnoxious ass self. Okay, so then Kant wakes up on a boat in the ocean and Bison is pointing a gun at him and he tells him to jump in. Kant starts getting flashbacks to his childhood trauma when he was stranded in the ocean, floating in wreckage of a plane and screaming for his parents, and that we can deduce that they died in a plane crash. It takes him like a while to like muster up the courage, but Kant jumps in the ocean after Bison persistently yells at him with a gun. Episode 8. Oh my god. I'm gonna take a break. I need caffeine. Kant wakes up in a bed and he looks around the house he's in and it seems to be Bison's parents' old house. We can also assume that Bison saved Kant from drowning in the ocean because Kant doesn't know how to swim. This house is also on an island and is very much secluded. While Kant is exploring the house, he runs into Bison, who immediately pulls a gun on him. Kant is like, bro, let me explain. Bison is not having it. He's like, nah, bro. And you must do everything I say, okay? Before I kill you. Because I'm going to kill you still, okay? Bison forces Kant to catch some fish from the ocean and start a fire to cook it. It's giving like Castaway, it's giving Lost. It's giving like stranded on an island. Survival. As you know, Style and Fidel are trying to find Kant and Bison, and their car breaks down, and they are literally in the middle of nowhere and have no idea where they are going. So yeah, they're like stranded right now. So back to the island, Kant explains to Bison that he had no choice and Officer White Boy made him do it. And Bison's like, there's always a choice, okay? I don't want to hear this fucking excuse from you. And Kant tells him that he should have explained sooner and that he really does love him and he really regrets his decisions. So back to Style and Fidel, they go looking for help because they are stranded in the middle of nowhere, and they find this seemingly abandoned house, like off the side of some dirt road. They go open the door. Turns out that this house is actually not abandoned, and there is in fact a kooky ass couple living in the house, and they are currently having this giant fight because today was supposed to be their wedding day, but one of them had cheated on the other. So I'm just gonna call the couple Bald Guy and Not Bald Guy. So Not Bald Guy had cheated on Bald Guy and today was supposed to be their wedding day, so that's why they're fighting. Then Bald Guy ends up threatening Style with a baseball bat because, you know, he literally just broke into his house. But then Fidel pulls his gun out. So then the two lovers, Bald Guy and Not Bald Guy, they're tied up by Style and Fidel, and they reaffirm their love for one another while they're tied up and threatened in their own house. Because they're like, baby, none of that even matters. We both know we love each other. I don't want to die without telling you I love you. Then Fidel and Style are like, fuck it. They untie them and they decide to go through with the wedding anyways. And Style officiates it and they have this like little cute little wedding in their backyard. Cut to Keen and Miss Lily. So Keen is talking to Miss Lily. He's being a bit devious and he's like, hey Miss Lily, I think Fidel and Bison like ran away with their boyfriends and that's why they've been gone. Yeah, I don't think they want to work for you anymore. I think they left you. I would never do that to you, mommy. So then Miss Lily tells Keen to kill them or hire someone to do it. Kant and Bison are talking at the beach, and Kant pulls the gun in Bison's hand to his own chest and tells him, you can kill me, I deserve it. Then he bears his heart out to Bison and just talks about how much he loves him, and he says this, it was my job to fool you, but in the end, I only fooled myself. This works. It actually works on Bison, and they make up and make out, absolutely going ham. Why did I do that? After the wedding that Style just officiated to these two strangers in their backyard, they are dancing in their house to music on a record player, and Style and Fidel join the men dancing, and they end up romantically like hug dancing, you know, swaying side to side. Fidel, you ain't fooling no one, boy. We all see what you are, bro. Just then, the newly married couple, bald guy and not bald guy, try to hit Fidel with a vase, but then, you know, he pulls his classic move of pulling out his Glock, and they tie them up again. So Fidel draws himself a bath in the stranger's house, and Style basically forces his way in the bath as well. But like, Fidel is not stopping him. He's just like, can you not? And then Style gets in and he's like, yeah, whatever. So they're taking this bath together. Fidel says, look, bruh, I'm still gonna kill you. And Style's like, you can go ahead. You know, I definitely deserve it after making you fall head over heels for me. Oh, I absolutely deserve to die after making you fall in love with me so hard than betraying you. And Fidel's like, I never fell for you. What do you mean, bro? Sure, Fidel. Even Styles dumbass doesn't believe you. Yo, anyone here got a foot fetish? Watch this scene in the bathtub, because Styles starts like, he like takes his dog and like slowly like rubs Fidel's chest with it. It's so freaky. And while they're in the bath, Fidel sees a painting on the wall, and it's like a painting of an island, and he's like, Eureka! Bison's family's home is on an island. I bet that's where he is. Episode 9. As Style is driving Fidel to the island, he opens Fidel's glove compartment in his car, and he finds a picture of a man. Could this be the man in the flashback? You know, as they're driving, Style asks Fidel if they can stop somewhere to get clothes, because he is wearing Fidel's clothes and it's making him depressed. He says that if he dies, he wants to wear something that is nice and that is his style. He says the most iconic quote from the show, in my opinion.
ศพกูจะได้หล่อๆเวลาออกข่าวนะจะได้จำได้พบศพหนุ่มหล่อหน้าใสหน้าตาดีใส่เสื้อครอปพ่อกูจะได้จำได้ด้วย
And that works on Fidel. So they go to a thrift store, and while there, some man in a motorcycle helmet starts shooting up the place trying to kill them. I wonder who this could be. He has a terrible shot and misses. Keen. They manage to escape, but Styles' arm is grazed by a bullet. And also, like, while they're running away, Fidel like sees like a tattoo on the man in the motorcycle's helmet's wrist. So then they arrive at the island, and Style really needs medical attention because he kind of got shot, and Bison stitches him up because apparently he has that skill, I guess. Bison and Fidel talk, and Fidel's like, bro, how could you forgive Kent? He could still be lying. You were supposed to kill him. What are you doing? Bison is like, look, I clearly can't do that, but if you can, sure, go ahead and kill him, but you gotta kill Style too. Don't think I didn't see the way you were holding his hand when I was giving him those stitches. So Fidel ends up getting pissed off and holding a gun to Kent's head, but then Bison pulls a gun and holds it to his own brother's head and is like, don't shoot my man. Style comes out with his arm like all bandaged up from like resting inside of the house and tells Fidel, don't shoot Kent. If you do, you have to kill me too. I agreed to his plan and I fooled you willingly. As his life is being threatened, Kent tells Fidel, I love your brother and my friend loves you. We just want to help you get the life you want. And then that convinces Fidel to put his gun down. Keen comes back to Miss Lily after failing to kill Fidel. And Miss Lily's like, you're a useless ass bitch. Matter of fact, I'm gonna hire the same guy we did 2 years ago to get rid of these two. Who'd you hire 2 years ago? Back at the island, Kent and Bison come up with a nefarious plan to get Style and Fidel back together. Bison tells Style that Fidel wants to meet him at the beach. And Kent tells Fidel that this whole situation isn't Styles' fault and that he made him pursue him because Style wanted his car. This just makes Fidel more mad because he's like, he did all that for a car. Kent tells Fidel that Bison is waiting for him on the beach and has something to say. So Fidel and Style end up meeting at the beach. And Style's like, look, if you don't give me a chance, I'm walking into this ocean and never coming back. So, bye. And he starts walking into the ocean.
เดี๋ยวแผลมันก็ติดเชื้อหรอกได้ติดเชื้อตายไปเลยดิ ตาย กูไปแล้วนะ บ๊ายบาย โอ้ยลึกมากเลยอ่ะ โอ้ย หอยบาดตีนกู โอ้ย กูให้โอกาสมึงก็ได้ จริงนะ กูไปแล้ว หลอกกูแน่ ตาย
Fidel folds immediately, like runs into him and starts making out with him. So they're back together, yay! Later, while they're lying together in bed, Style asks Fidel who the picture of the guy in his glove compartment was, and Fidel says that it was his ex who absolutely ghosted him after he just agreed to quit his job and run away with him. Then at the end of this episode, all 4 of the guys are playing frisbee on the beach, and the brothers agree that they're gonna come back to the island one day after they finish their last assassination job. They're quitting assassinating after this one last job to get revenge for the man who killed their parents. Episode 10. By the way, like, this is how small the writing on my notes is, so if you see me like squinting down on the paper, that's why. These glasses might be fake, but my eyesight ain't that good, boy. So episode 10 starts, and Fidel and Bison leave the other 2, and they're saying, don't worry guys, we're gonna be back after we finish this job, but we might have to cut contact for a while just so everyone stays safe. So Fidel and Bison make a new plan to get their target. They pretend to be realtors selling land because their target buys land, and they get him alone. And their target reveals that he wasn't actually the one who killed their parents. He hired Lily, Miss Lily, to kill their parents because she used to be an assassin. So Fidel and Bison kill this man, and they now have a new person they have to get revenge on, Miss Lily. They want to kill her now.
Scary.
Meanwhile, Style and Cat feel like sitting ducks and wish they could do something to help their boyfriends who are currently out of contact with them. Fidel and Bison meet up with Miss Lily and Keen to, show evidence that they ended up killing the target. And Fidel sees a familiar tattoo on Keen's wrist. So he knows that Keen was the one who tried to kill him in Style. Kant is alone at the bowling alley that they always go to, and he's looking sad. And then he spots Bison in a bucket hat who appears to be spying on him. So he chases him down and ends up catching up to him, and they have a conversation, and Kant asks if he could help Bison with his revenge plan. At first, Bison is like, dude, it's like way too dangerous, like no way. But he ends up agreeing after Kant persuades him. Fidel shows up to Style's garage, and Style also asks if he could help Fidel. So then all of them meet up together and decide, you know what, we're all gonna work together for this final revenge plan against Miss Lily. They divide themselves into 2 teams. Bison and Kant will go after Miss Lily, and Style and Fidel will go after Team. Kant and Bison find out that Miss Lily is trying to cozy up to the wife of some big politician and is out golfing with her. So Kant replaces one of the caddies Miss Lily had hired to specifically flirt with this politician's wife, to be kind of like a host type of position, to take care of her. And yeah, Kant ends up cozying up to the lady Miss Lily's trying to impress, and she takes quite a liking to Kant as her caddy. Meanwhile, Style and Fidel follow Keen into a hotel, and Style knocks on the door pretending to be room service. So Keen is actually there with his boyfriend. I didn't mention it before because it didn't really seem relevant, but he has a boyfriend, so good for him. Keen pulls out a gun on Style, and he's like, bro, I knew you were gonna be here. I literally have a tracker in Fidel's car. Hey, Fidel, come out from wherever you're hiding, come in. So he's holding the 2 of them at gunpoint, and Fidel tells Keen that Miss Lily killed his parents. And Keen is like, oh yeah? Well, Miss Lily hired an assassin to kill your ex-boyfriend, and that's why he disappeared. He's dead. Fidel and Style get into a tussle with Keen, and they manage to grab Keen's gun. Once they get the gun, they take his boyfriend hostage and say that they'll give his boyfriend back once he gives them some dirt on Miss Lily. Because the politician's wife while she's golfing, ended up liking Kant so much as a caddy, Miss Lily decides to hire him to work at the politician's wife's birthday party, which is coming up in a few days. She tells him, yo, if you got any handsome friends, bring them too. Don't worry, I pay well. At the end of this episode, Fidel allows himself to be vulnerable and cry into Styles' arms about the fact that his ex-boyfriend pretty much died because of him, and Style comforts him.
มึงคู่ควรกับความรักมากๆเลยนะ
Episode 11. Keen gives a USB stick to Kant, Bison, Fidel, and Style with the dirt he has on Miss Lily in exchange for getting his boyfriend back. Bison says that he wants to kill Miss Lily, but Kent is like, yo, I thought you were done killing people, okay? It's not chill. Also, let me see if I can arrange something with Captain Whiteboy, because I don't want you to be killing people anymore, and I don't want you to have to run from the law for the rest of your life. Kent and Style meet up with Captain Whiteboy, and they tell him, look, we're gonna get you the boss. We're gonna get you the big boss of this assassin organization if you spare our boyfriends. Sound like a good deal? And Captain Whiteboy agrees to do whatever he can to keep their boyfriends out of jail if they help catch the boss. It's Miss Lily's friend, who's the politician's wife, who she's trying to cozy up to. It's her birthday. And Kant and Style, who he recruited, are there working as hosts at the party. Kant goes up to the TV pretending like he's gonna pick a karaoke song, and he puts the USB into the TV and plays the video of dirt that Keen gave him. So it's basically just a compilation of Miss Lily threatening and killing people, and it plays on the TV in front of everyone at the party. So Miss Lily runs into the bathroom, and in the bathroom, there's Fidel and Bison who are waiting for her with guns. Before the police show up, Kant and Style give Fidel and Bison bags with fake passports in them, and they're like, listen, I don't know if the police are gonna cooperate, just go across the border, okay? We'll find you eventually. But then Captain Whiteboy pulls up before they can escape. And Captain Whiteboy's like, yo, I knew you guys were gonna try to skip town. Look, the lightest sentence I can possibly give you is 5 years in jail. Take the deal or leave it. And Fidel and Bison are like, you know what? We're done running. Let's take the deal. 5 years, it's not even that bad. It's 5 years. We're gonna do it. So then Kant is like, fine, Captain Whiteboy, you can take my boyfriend and put him in jail, but all I ask is that you give us one final day to be together, okay? And then you can arrest them. And Captain Whiteboy's like, oh, whatever the hell, sure, why not? That night, Kant and Bison are eating together, and Bison is like, this sucks. As soon as I found the man of my dreams, I get locked up. And Kant is like, don't worry, baby, I'm gonna wait for you. 5 years will go by so quick. Don't even worry about it. The next day, Kant and Bison and Fidel and Style, they both decide to go on dates to enjoy their last day together. And here, on the date that Style and Fidel are going on, we get evidence that Style is an I can fix him girl. Because he says this to Fidel. He says, you're my project boyfriend. I just love a mission, I'm gonna change you from being a bad boy.
อย่างมึงอะกูให้เป็น project boyfriend.
But low-key, I think his mission has already been a success because he has already got literally the biggest tsundere in the world to say I love you to him. So good job. You fixed him, Style. Good job. So on their date, Fidel very romantically takes Style to a gravestone with Fidel's own name on it. And then Fidel tells Style, he's like, I know I could die at any moment, and no matter how I die, I know I'm gonna be doing it alone, so I made this gravestone for myself. Bury me there when I die, okay? I don't need a funeral or any of that shit. What is wrong with you? Fidel, what is wrong with you? Jesus Christ. You were so depressed before Style, bro. He has his own gravestone, and it's literally by itself, in the middle of nowhere. Why? You're actually a freak. But anyhow, Style is literally what the hell, boy? You ain't dying alone. My ghost will be yapping your ear off forever, okay? You got me now. And then Fidel, this one, he is genuinely sweet. He's like, After after meeting you, I've been thinking less about death.
เพราะมึงทำให้กูรู้สึกว่ากูอยากมีชีวิตต่อเพื่อที่จะอยู่กับมึงไปนาน
Aww. Later, they are eating, and Fidel tells Style, he's like, come on, it's 5 years. You don't have to wait for me while I'm in prison. And Style is like, okay, like literally too bad. I'm waiting for you. You're literally the love of my life. Shut the fuck up. You think I'm that impatient, you bitch. We did all this shit together. I'm not gonna be able to forget you, okay? Meanwhile, Kent and Bison give each other tattoos. Somehow, with like barely any training, Bison gives Kent like a perfectly like good tattoo. So I guess he's a natural born artist. Kent gets a penguin tattoo, which if you remember was like their safe word that one time they like did like BDSM or whatever, but like they didn't even do it. And now it's kind of like his nickname for Bison. So that's just kind of weird. And Bison gets a puffin tattoo. Because I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but Bison literally throughout the entire show, he's talked about many times how badly he wants to go see the Northern Lights. And Kent has made plans with him. He's like, one day we're gonna go see the Northern Lights together. We're going to go to Iceland and see them together. And maybe there'll be some cute little puffins there. The next day, the police take Bison and Fidel away. And it's really, really emotional. Like, this scene is actually really well done. Kent's actor does an especially good job in this scene. Like, he's crying while smiling. And it's just so sad. And then Fidel and Bison drive away while Kent and Style are like crying and like holding each other. And then it's like them crying, and then it like cuts to Bison and Fidel changing into prison uniforms and getting their mug shots done. And that is how episode 11 ends. Okay, episode 12. The last episode, guys. Are we ready? Year one. Year one of Bison and Fidel being in jail. So in jail, there is a creepy guy who tries to sexually assault Bison because he's like short and cute, but Bison beats him up, as he should. Fidel and Bison get the privilege to work as chefs in the prison because they had heard that they like owned a burger joint before. Also, like, cooking is like Fidel's passion. He's really good at it and he loves doing it, but Bison is like absolutely terrible at it, but he somehow managed to become a sous chef. So outside of jail, Kent and especially Style horny ass, they get sick of their short visits to their boyfriends where they can't touch each other. So then they talk to Captain White Boy.
Arena.
Oh my god. By the way, in this scene where they're talking to Captain White Boy, Styles fit. Oh, like he has like a pink crop top with like white glasses on his head and like cargo pants and a belt. Oh, it's so cunty. Oh my god, it's so cunty. Like I want it. Oh, this is the best fit in the show. And it's so sad because like we literally only get to see like half of it. And this scene lasts maybe 30 seconds. Like I'm actually pissed about that. It's Styles' best fit. So I just need to shout that out. Anyways, they talk to Captain White Boy.
Arena.
And they get him to pull some strings so they become vocation teachers in the prison. So Kent teaches art and Style teaches fixing cars to inmates. And Fidel and Bison happen to take their respective boyfriends' classes, and then they get to like talk to them and, you know, sneak off to make out. For year 2 and 3, everything seems to be going good. The jail life, you know, they're actually kind of thriving in jail. They're cooking it up, they're chefing it up in the kitchen, and they get to see their boyfriends, they get to make out, all that. It's going well. Year 4 of jail. One day, Style doesn't show up to one of his classes, and there's like a replacement for him teaching, you know, fixing cars. And Fidel gets super pissed off from this, and he's like, ugh, why'd I set my expectations too high? You should just leave me because you're so busy with work. Why do you even, ugh. It's literally one class he doesn't show up for. And Fidel is just mad, so. After this, he actually stops going to Styles' classes. And Bison gives Fidel like a mini bouquet of flowers made out of paper that Style made for him. And he's like, bro, you gotta talk to him. So Fidel goes to talk to Style like while he's like finishing his class, and Style says that he's working on something for him and that's why he's been busy, and then they make up. Year 5. Everyone looks the same haircuts, same everything, haven't aged a bit. So Bison and Fidel are let out of prison, yay! Style's like, Fidel, I gotta bring you to a secret place. And it turns out he reopened Heartburger for Fidel. He bought it, and that's why he had to be gone that one time. And that's why he's been working extra hard at his job, because he was saving up money to buy Heartburger for Fidel. And Fidel is so thankful and kisses him and is so happy. And he's like, okay, so that's why you missed that shift you had at the prison. I forgive you completely. What was I thinking? I'm crazy. You're actually the best boyfriend in the world. So Kent and Bison go back to Kent's home, but then they find it's like absolutely trashed and Kent's brother is missing. And then they find a note that was left on the table. Somehow they know like where to go based on this note, but this note literally says like dinner with mama, dinner at mom's house. And somehow like they know where to go because of that. Yeah, obviously Kent's brother's been kidnapped by someone. I wonder who it could be. I wonder who mom is. The same thing happens when Style and Fidel go to Style's dad's garage. He is missing and they find the same note. So then Kent, Style, Fidel, and Bison all meet up at the location that they somehow knew to go to. And lo and behold, oh my God, Miss Lily had kidnapped Kent's brother and Style's dad. Plot twist. So apparently she paid her way out of jail. Capitalism, am I right? So the 4 boys, they're held at gunpoint by Miss Lily's men, and they are forced to sit at this dinner table. And Miss Lily talks to Fidel and Bison, and she's either like, either we shoot your boyfriends, or you force their family members to drink this poisoned wine. So Fidel and Bison pretend like they're gonna force them to drink the poisoned wine, but then they surprise attack Miss Lily's men, and they get the guns. And then they pull a little switcheroo on Miss Lily and they force her to drink her own poison. Everyone leaves before we see the poison take effect on Miss Lily. So we actually don't know if she dies. She's kind of just like sitting at the table after drinking the poison and she's like, but we don't see her die. So who knows? She might still be out there lurking in the shadows. So then there is a scene between Kent and Bison, and Kent reveals that he got plane tickets to go to see the Northern Lights in Iceland, which was him and Bison's dream, so they're all happy with that. There's a scene between Style and Fidel where they were absolutely like sucking face, like so, like literally their souls are leaving their body, like their intestines are like coming up through the like vacuum seal because it's like so strong. Like this is crazy. Yeah, and this is when Fidel officially quits being a tsundere and he admits to loving Style 100%. So that's cute. Kent and Bison go to see the Northern Lights in Iceland, and like the visual effects for this are kind of good. Like I was really surprised. For Thai BL standards, that's really good. And Kent and Bison video call Style and Fidel from the Northern Lights, and the show ends with Style and Fidel riding in Kent's car that Style finally has ownership of after the bet he made with Kent to make Fidel fall in love with him. And they're just happily driving in the car. And that's the end of the show. The show was quite fun. It wasn't the best Thai BL I've ever seen, but I wanted to talk about it because I wrote notes while watching it. And also maybe this show, The Heart Killers, I wasn't fully in love with it because the other Thai BL that I watched before this was Love in the Air, which oh my God. Okay, Love in the Air is so good, but like the first half is literally like perfection. I wasn't that big a fan of what are their names? Storm and like Pai. Yeah, I wasn't as big of a fan of that couple, but Payu and Rain. Anyways, that was The Heart Killers. Thank you for watching this long ass video. My one subscriber. Bye.